So you've blown up your first motor and we're going to unsolder it. So the key to unsoldering is using the flat part of the tip and being real calm with it. You don't have to press down. You want to let the soldering iron do all the work. So this is a test luminaire board. These are used to sort of solder to be as a breaker between your motor and your speed control. In this scenario, we're going to pretend like we are soldering a brand new motor to a speed control or to this board, which would go in the middle. So the first thing you're going to do is just trim it so that you can see about 2 millimeters of wire. Don't squeeze the scissors or the wire cutters, just pull the wire across it. It'll pull the plastic off. If you squeeze, you're going to cut into the wire. This is assuming you don't have a pair of wire strippers. So first you're going to tin it. Start with a clean soldering iron, put just a little bit of solder on. You'll see here that it didn't really soak into the wire. That's because I didn't apply flux. You can solder without flux, but using flux pulls the solder into the wire. It makes it way more effective and way easier to use. So here I'm using my flux pen and I'm just getting it wet. And once it's wet, I'm going to go and I'm going to do the same tinning technique, which is clean your soldering tip until it's silver. Put just a little bit of solder on it, like a little ball onto the end. I like to use the flat soldering tip. Some people like the points. I like the flat. Once it's on there, you just touch it to the fluxed wire and the flux pulls it into the wire. And now you have a metal slash lead slash tinned tip. These luminaire pads are basically 3 jumpers that go across. So only adjacent tabs or inline tabs connect to each other. These are fairly inexpensive. They're like 10 for $5. It's worth it, even if it's just for learning to solder. The next step is going to be to use the flat part of the soldering iron on the solder that's on the tab currently. You just want to heat it up until it turns liquid. Once it turns liquid, lay the wire on it and just touch the soldering iron to the wire. The wire and the tab will turn liquid. When you pull it off, you have a good, solid, sturdy solder joint. A good solder joint will typically be shiny silver. If it's off-colored or cracky, it's not a very good solder joint. Here I'm flowing the center again just to show that if you heat it up, it doesn't want to leave the soldering pad. It wants to stay on it. I have a video that'll show you how to fix it if you come off, but really just dragging the soldering iron over and over between it will move the solder back to the pads. So now you've plugged it back in and the motor's spinning the wrong direction. So we're going to swap 2 of the wires so it'll spin the correct direction. Again, we just heat it up. Here you can see it's bridged, but just a little more heat and it unbridges. It's difficult to show you what I'm doing to keep it on camera and be able to get the soldering iron in a good position. So bear with me here. The wires aren't fraying, so they're still tinned enough. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to melt the pad with the wire touching it, and it bonds together. And now we're going to put the last motor lead on. Same way, we'll heat up the solder, get it hot. With the wire laying on it, it will all turn liquid, and you slowly take it off, and it's on. You now have a soldered motor and a soldered wire in the other end. Let's test it. So this is soldered up and ready to go. All you would need to do is use your voltage meter to make sure that nothing bridged, and it's pretty safe to turn on your quad and see if it works. So now let's talk a little bit about these soldering tab boards. So they're nothing but a straight through circuit. I've seen people use these, and I've seen people use LED strips in the same way. It's just a circuit. Now, if you don't know, a circuit is just a tab that's inside a laminated board. It literally goes straight through, and because the tabs are separated, it acts like a wire. The tabs that are directly in line with each other are the only ones that pass current. They do not pass current side by side, only from end to end. These are really convenient for soldering your motor to one side and the speed control to the other. It provides you an easy access division to quickly swap a motor without pulling top plates off and doing things like that. They come in tabs of 10 for like $6. It's definitely a good investment, especially for 5-inch or larger quads. For the smaller quads, like the Baby Hawk HD, didn't work so well. Last bit of advice is don't leave your soldering iron on the component that you're soldering too long. Even these boards are covered with a varnish that you can melt. So the longer you leave it on, the more you risk hurting components. So get your soldering iron nice and hot, touch it fairly quickly. As soon as it melts, take it off. You can keep it warm, but don't get it too hot because you'll definitely ruin your components. Thanks for watching. Take care. Deuces.